The first crunch of boots on gravel came at 3:17 a.m. Daniel Reeves was sliding into sleep when the sound cleaved the silence.
That was no branch. Too heavy, too rhythmic. Someone was walking the perimeter of his trailer.
He hit the dome light and squinted at the clock. 20 minutes of rest, now shattered. He craned to the windshield, then the driver's side glass. The truck stop was a void beyond the amber lamp's reach. The crunching returned, circling slower this time. Each step a deliberate grind into the gravel.
Circling the trailer. Twice now. That wasn't a stranger checking tires.
He adjusted the side mirror and froze. In the convex reflection, a silhouette stood beside the trailer, utterly motionless.
Focused, like he'd been waiting for Daniel to see him.
The figure didn't wave, didn't shift. It just kept still in the dirty amber light, as if posing for a picture.
Not a animal, not a stranded driver, something worse.
Daniel stayed pressed against the seat, the silhouette still burning in his mirror. His mind reeled back 3 hours. He'd pulled in at 3 a.m., a black sedan, the only other vehicle. Every window was fogged, white.
At the time, he assumed a driver was sleeping. Now the memory curdled.
The engine had been silent. No exhaust, no shift of weight inside the cabin.
What if the driver never was inside? Already out here, waiting in the dark for Daniel to park.
The lamp lit the sedan, but the inside stayed secret. He'd felt the prickle of being watched.
He should have listened to that chill, should have turned the key and found another stop.
He angled the mirror and caught the trailer seal. Still intact, the metal band unbroken.
But a seal only stops honest people, and that figure didn't seem bound by rules.
Outside, the sedan hadn't moved. The boots had stopped, but the weight of the silence was worse. The stillness shattered, a slow grind of heel on gravel, drawing closer to the cab, each step a deliberate promise that the man was not finished. Daniel could feel the black sedan in his peripheral vision, its fogged windows like blind eyes watching from the dark, unmoving.
He's trying to draw me out, wants me to open the door, make a mistake and step into his game.
He grabbed his phone and dialed dispatch, the screen's blue glow harsh in the cab, his thumb slipping on sweat. The line connected, but Rachel's voice came through, shredded by static that pulsed with a strange rhythmic crackle.
Daniel, can't. Your signal's breaking apart.
Rachel, there's someone outside my rig circling. I need backup. Do you copy? Hello?
Feedback screeched, then her words warped into hollow echoes, tumbling down into a digital grave.
She couldn't hear him. The signal was dead, or something out here was actively choking it.
He ended the call. Outside, the boots paused, then tapped twice on the trailer, a taunt. He reached for the door handle. The cab door swung open with a low creak. Daniel dropped onto the gravel, the cold leather of his gloves tightening as he gripped the flashlight.
30 years on the road, and this is the first time the air felt like a threat, heavy, like something breathing in the dark.
He swept the beam across the lot, empty now, the sedan a silent black shell, and moved toward the trailer. Each step crunching in the spots where the boots had been. The trailer's seal came into view, and his stomach dropped. The metal band was severed, clean, deliberate, like a surgeon's cut.
They didn't just walk by. They went inside. Whatever was in my load, they've already seen it.
He forced a breath and unlatched the heavy door, the metal groaning as it swung wide. Cold air spilled out, carrying an odd, coppery scent. He stepped up and in, the flashlight beam, carving a narrow path through the pitch black. The trailer was a cavern of silence.
The pallets should be stacked tight by the bulkhead, but the shadows don't match. Something's been moved.
He swept the light left to right, heart hammering. The cargo was rearranged, pallets angled wrong. One skidded 3 feet sideways, as if shoved in haste.
Not a robbery, a search, or a setup. Either way, the next few minutes would tell if this was still his truck.
Daniel moved deeper, flashlight trembling. The beam caught the edge of a crate that shouldn't be there. Shouldn't be there.
Same pine, same dimensions as his own cargo, but no label, no manifest number, not part of his load.
He knelt, heart slamming his ribs. The lid was nailed shut, but one board had been levered up just a crack, fresh splinters still white.
Whoever was here wanted him to see this. It was a breadcrumb or a trap.
He wedged a finger under and lifted. A sliver of darkness widened, releasing a smell like damp earth and old copper. Inside, a shape sat in a pool of something thick and black, glistening in the flashlight's glow. He couldn't make it out, only that it was wet.
He'd seen enough. This wasn't his problem. This was a message, and he was the recipient.
He let the board fall back, the crack closing with a soft thud. The trailer suddenly felt smaller, the walls pressing in. Without thinking, he scrambled backward, out the door, into the cold night air. The sedan still sat there, patient.
He had to drive now, straight to the way station at Laramie. Let the troopers sort this nightmare.
Daniel didn't look back. He sprinted across the gravel, boots skidding, and hauled himself into the cab. The engine caught on the first crank. He twisted in his seat. The black sedan was gone, the space under the lamp empty. He shoved it into gear and pulled out, the trailer swaying as he accelerated onto the dark highway. For the first mile, he saw nothing in the mirrors. Just the black mouth of night and the trembling white line. Then, a pair of headlights blinked into existence, far back, unwavering as if anchored to his trailer.
Too far to see the car, too steady for a traveler. They matched his speed exactly, a patient second heartbeat.
He pressed the accelerator, the speedometer climbing past 70. The headlights kept their distance, a fixed constellation in the rear view.
Not closing in, not falling back, just waiting, like a hunter who knew the chase was already won.
The highway unrolled in the pre-dawn chill, empty except for his rig, and the silent judgment behind him.
Laramie was an hour out. He'd make it in 40 minutes. That was the plan anyway. The headlights had other ideas.
The way station emerged from the dawn mist, a low building with a single cruiser parked out front. Daniel pulled in, the engine sounding as exhausted as he felt. Inside, Trooper Benson looked up from a desk cluttered with papers. A corkboard behind him held 4 photos of missing men.
Trooper, I need help. Someone tampered with my trailer at a rest stop 60 miles back. Cut the seal, rearranged the cargo.
Tampered. That's a cargo theft claim. Got a description of the suspect?
No theft. They left something behind. A crate that doesn't belong to me. Something inside it, wet.
Benson's expression hardened. The pen in his hand stopped moving. He glanced at the board, then back at Daniel, a new weight in his eyes.
Show me, right now.
They crossed the lot, the trailer door still hanging open from Daniel's hasty retreat. Benson shone his flashlight inside, jaw tight.
You said the seal was cut, like a knife or bolt cutters.
Benson stepped up into the trailer, the beam catching the shifted pallets and the untouched crate in the center. His silence was answer enough. Benson knelt beside the crate and wedged the crowbar under the lid. The wood groaned, then split with a wet crack. The lid came away, and the smell hit them. Old iron, rot, and something acrid that clawed at the throat.
Not just engine oil. Something biological. Something that had been sealed in there for a long time.
Benson reached in with both hands, lifting out a logbook. Its leather cover was blackened, pages plastered together.
This isn't yours. Name on the cover, Tommy Ortega.
Daniel leaned in, reading the embossed letters. The name meant nothing to him, but the trooper's grip tightened.
Ortega, who is he? Why would his logbook be in my load?
Benson didn't answer. He stared at the logbook like it was a warrant. Then his eyes cut to the board of missing drivers.
He knows this name. It's on that board. One of the ones who didn't come back.
Tommy Ortega was reported missing 3 months ago. Last seen at the same exit you stopped at.
Benson opened the logbook, the pages dark and brittle, stuck together by the same black substance.
It had soaked every page, bleeding the ink into ghostly smears, rendering most entries illegible.
He turned the leaves carefully, the paper cracking, until a spread with a detailed highway map appeared.
A route in yellow highlighter, fresh as if drawn hours ago.
That route starts in Denver, passes through Casper, ending in Salt Lake. Sound familiar?
Daniel's pulse hammered. It was his pickups, his drops, his exact sequence filed with dispatch.
That's my manifest. The next 3 weeks, every mile. It's my whole schedule.
Benson brought the page closer to the light. The highlighter seemed to pulse, the line unbroken.
Someone mapped your route better than your own company, and they put it in a dead man's logbook.
Daniel reached out, his fingertip tracing the line that led straight back to the truck stop he'd fled. Benson flipped the logbook over and froze. His thumb pressed against the date stamp on the front cover, a serial number with a year out of reach.
The 17th of November, 2025. That's next year, 11 months from now.
The date was fresh, official, but it couldn't be right. It hadn't happened yet. None of this had happened yet.
The trooper snapped the logbook shut with the finality of a coffin lid, the black substance smearing his gloves.
I've seen this before. 4 other drivers, same exit, same pattern. Every one of them stopped at that lot and then just dissolved.
He'd seen 4 vanish, and he was looking at me like I was already the 5th.
Get back in your rig. Keep moving. Never stop at that exit again. Not for sleep, not for fuel, not for anything.
Daniel took the logbook, the damp leather cold against his palm. It felt heavier than a simple book ought to.
I am not writing this in my report. No one would believe it. Just go. Now.
Daniel backed out of the office, the corkboard of missing faces burning into his peripheral vision as he turned away, the logbook clutched to his chest. At the door, Daniel turned back. The trooper was still behind the desk, the logbook dark on its surface.
You mentioned 4 others. Who were they? When did this start?
Benson didn't answer with words. He waved him over to the map on his desk, its surface littered with red pins.
See these red pins? Each one marks a driver who vanished after stopping at that same exit.
Daniel counted them, 4 exactly, spread across 6 years, the most recent dated just 2 months ago.
2 months. A living, breathing person had been right where he stood, and then nothing. He could have been the 5th.
They stopped, they slept, and in the morning their trucks were empty. No sign of struggle, no bodies ever found.
Daniel's gaze fixed on the newest pin, the metal still shiny. He had pulled into that lot not 3 hours ago.
I was meant to be the next one. The route, the logbook, it was all to mark me.
He backed out of the office for the second time, the weight of the missing driver settling on his shoulders as he stepped into the dawn. Daniel climbed into the cab and fired the engine. The rising sun did nothing to warm the cold that had settled in his bones. He pulled onto the highway, the way station shrinking in the mirrors. Every few seconds he checked them. Habit turned obsession.
Just empty road. All morning, nothing. Maybe the trooper's warning was enough to break the chain.
By mid-morning, the sun was high. Daniel allowed himself a breath and reached for his coffee. Then he glanced at the driver's side mirror, a black speck, far back but holding steady. It didn't drift, didn't close, just matched his pace like a shadow on the horizon.
There it is, like it never left. Just waiting for me to get far enough from help to close the gap.
He checked the other mirror. The sedan was there too, patient, its shadow stretching long beneath the truck's wake.
It's not a car, it's a countdown, and it knows exactly where I am heading next.
He didn't speed up. He didn't pull over. He just drove the black sedan, a silent companion, all the way into the afternoon. The logbook lay on the passenger seat, its dark stain bleeding into the upholstery. Daniel kept one eye on the road, one on the mirror. The afternoon unrolled in a haze of white lines and scrub pine. Mile after mile, the black sedan never drifted, never closed, a constant dark star in the mirrors.
Maybe if I vary speed, it'll break the lockstep, crank it to 80. then drop to 50. Force a reaction.
He did. The rig surged, then slowed. The sedan matched each move like a needle to a magnet, the gap never widening by more than a car length.
I could take the next exit, swing around, face it head on, but Benson's words are a scar. Never stop at that exit again. His warning was bigger than that lot.
His eyelids scraped like sandpaper. He had been awake since a boot on gravel at 3:17 a.m., and his body was beginning to fail.
Can't doze. That's what it wants. A moment of weakness, a pulled-over rest, and I am a red pin on Benson's map.
He slapped his cheek hard and rolled the window down an inch. The cold wind bit, but it was the only thing keeping him tethered to the road. The sun bled into the horizon, painting the empty interstate in bruised oranges. The sedan's parking lights flicked on, two cold pinpricks in the gathering dusk.
Sunset. The thing is, whatever it is, it's nocturnal. I survived last night by running, but I can't run forever.
Daniel gripped the wheel until his knuckles ached. The night was coming, and the sedan was done waiting. The logbook on the passenger seat felt heavier, its stains spreading like a slow claim. Night swallowed the highway whole. The sedan's headlights swelled, no longer two distinct lamps but a single blinding smear. A cold pressure pushed against Daniel's chest, as if the cab had lost its seal and the night itself was seeping in.
It's not just following anymore, it's pressing in, like it wants to be inside the cab with me.
He risked a glance at the logbook. The dark stain seemed to ripple, a faint glow pulsing beneath the crusted pages.
Leave me alone. You hear me? I am not stopping.
He stomped the accelerator. The engine roared, and the headlights in the mirror flickered, once, twice, before dimming. When they steadied, they were smaller. The gap widened by a few car lengths. The pressure in the cab eased just a fraction.
It reacted. It heard me. Whatever it is, it's not invincible. It can be pushed back.
He kept the engine at maximum revs, the speedometer needle quivering past 80. The headlights didn't advance. The logbook's glow faded. Daniel let out a shaking breath. The sedan was still there, but for the first time, it was following his rules. Dawn bled through the windshield, pink and raw. Daniel blinked, and the rearview mirror showed nothing but empty road. The black sedan was gone, dissolved back into whatever dark it came from. He'd survived the second night. He spotted a rest area sign and pulled in, the rig shuddering to a stop. His body screamed for sleep. He staggered out, splashed cold water from a faucet, and stared at his reflection, haggard, older, but alive. He dialed dispatch. Rachel answered on the second ring, her voice tight with worry.
Rachel, I am still here. It's over for now. But I need you to change my schedule. No more night runs.
Daniel, what are you talking about? Your run is all mapped. Are you hurt?
I am not hurt, but I will be if I keep driving nights. I am only hauling by daylight from now on. That's final.
She didn't understand, but he didn't need her to. He'd seen what lurked in the dark, and he would never be its prey again. Daniel climbed back into the cab, the logbook still wet on the passenger seat. He closed the door on the night and pulled back onto the sunlit highway. He drove until exhaustion won, then pulled into a rest area. He slept 3 hours, the logbook clutched to his chest. He woke with a start, the sun high. He took out his phone and searched for Tommy Ortega. The first result, a missing person bulletin, 3 months old. Last seen at that same Wyoming exit. A photograph showed a grinning man beside his truck. The cab found empty, engine still idling.
Ortega, the name that made Benson go pale. Now I see the face that vanished.
He dug deeper. 3 more names surfaced, each tied to the same truck stop over 6 years. Their records were cold cases, closed with no leads. Every story ended the same. No body, no trace.
I wasn't the first. I won't be the last. The logbook is a chain and I am just the next link.
His hands trembled. He set the phone down. The faces of the missing burned into his memory. Daniel stared out at the highway, the knowledge heavy. He'd escaped, but the road would never feel empty again. He called Benson's direct line. The trooper answered on the first ring, his voice already heavy.
Benson, it's Reeves. I've been reading. The missing drivers. All 4 of them. Same place.
I told you to keep driving, not to dig.
A pause. Then the trooper's voice dropped, stripped of its official tone.
Off the record. The logbook is a marker. It's how it tags the next one.
Tagged like livestock. And he'd walked right into the pen.
It swaps cargo, leaves a logbook with a date. The date's a prediction, when the victim vanishes.
Daniel's throat dried. The route, the future date, it had already marked him.
So I am on its list. No matter where I drive, it'll find me.
The trooper didn't deny it. The silence said enough. Daniel was already in the pattern. Over the next week, Daniel finished his run, always stopping before dusk, unloading the cargo and the strange crate with it. On the final evening, he pulled into a rest stop with a fire ring. He built a small blaze from scraps. He held the logbook over the flames, its dark stain seeming to resist the heat, then dropped it in.
Watching it burn felt wrong, like he was breaking something that wasn't finished with him.
The pages curled, black smoke coiling upward. The stain hissed, then flared white-hot before crumbling to ash. He called dispatch afterward. Voice flat. Rachel answered, puzzled by his new insistence.
Daylight only. Daniel, you can't just rewrite your contract. You'll lose runs.
Losing runs beats losing my life, Rachel. Make the change or I walk.
She thought he'd lost his mind. Other drivers heard his rule and called him Daylight Dan behind his back.
Let them laugh. The logbook was ash, but the memory was a scar that would glow each sunset.
Months thinned into routine. Daniel never missed a sunset deadline. The logbook's ash long since scattered. Truck stop gossip named him Daylight Dan. He let the nickname stick without comment. Every morning he scanned the news on his phone, searching for any mention of that lonely stretch of interstate, and then a headline brought his thumb to a dead stop. Highway Phantom claims 5th trucker. Rig found abandoned at Wyoming Rest exit. Driver's side door still open.
The photo was a stranger, a face he didn't know. The cycle didn't need him to keep spinning.
The report detailed the same markers. No struggle, no trace, just an idling engine and the dark pressing in.
2 months since he'd stared into that crate. The thing out there was still hungry.
He set the phone down and watched the sunrise. The light no longer a comfort. He'd escaped the pattern, but the road would always be a hunting ground. One afternoon, a route detour took Daniel past a truck stop that raised the hair on his neck. A semi sat parked under the lone amber lamp, a black sedan idling beside it. Identical to his first night.
Another driver, another crate. The cycle was feeding again, and there was nothing he could do.
He didn't slow. He pressed the accelerator, the scene shrinking in the mirror, the sedan not moving.
Never stop at that exit again. Benson's warning was a scar. It applied to every isolated lot now.
The exit sign blurred past, a green ghost in the corner of his eye. He kept his gaze locked on the road ahead.
He couldn't save them all. His only weapon was daylight and distance.
In the mirror, his truck's shadow stretched long, and for a moment, a second shadow seemed to trail behind it. He blinked, and the phantom shadow was gone. The sedan hadn't followed. This time,
the lonely interstates were still hungry, and he was no longer prey. But someone, somewhere, was about to feed it.
Daniel bought a fresh logbook at the next truck stop, its pages clean and empty, a reversal of the one he'd burned. He wrote his own route in it, each entry a small act of defiance against the darkness.
He never wrote Tommy Ortega's name, but he remembered it. Every mile was a tribute.
A photograph of his family was taped to the dash, the reason he drove, the reason he only drove days.
They didn't know what he'd survived, But every time he saw them, he knew why he had to.
The roads were still long, still lonely, but he'd learned there were things out there that couldn't be explained, only survived. He still checked his mirrors at every sunset, the habit carved deep as the lines on his face.
But he kept driving. Daylight Dan, they called him. He wore the name like armor.
And when the sun rose, he was still on the road, still moving, leaving the night behind. He was no longer prey, but a sentinel on the asphalt, and the night could keep its hunger. The loneliest interstate routes still stretch under flickering sodium lamps, the forest pressing in from the sides. Some drivers stop at the amber pools and never leave. Others, like Daniel Reeves, keep moving. Through every sunrise, he checks his mirrors. The road behind is empty. His rig disappears into the horizon, a tiny silhouette swallowed by light, but the night remembers the logbook, the boot prints, the black sedan idling with its windows fogged white. The pattern hasn't stopped. It only waits for the next driver who pulls in too tired to keep going. Daniel's story is one of survival, not a cure. The road still holds its hunger. For now, the mirrors show an empty road. For now. And somewhere in Wyoming, a sodium lamp buzzes and the forest presses closer.